G'day and welcome to the video. It's time for hardcore run number 6. No change from our previous run in terms of mod pack modules, shaders and resource packs. Nothing changes with our setup either, so time to see what we've got. It's a mime world. We've spawned inside a clear box. Okay, it was a hitbox for some tall grass. More seriously, it's birch, oak, a lake, some sand and undulating plains. It all looks fairly benign for now. Pillar and directional aid in place. I gather some nearby wood, create a pick, and go mine some... I didn't see any nearby stone. I spot stone and some interesting high terrain. I'll have to remember that for later, but first I want something a little closer to base. Something I find along the banks of a nearby river. I soon have stone tools, have harvested the nearby pumpkins, and quickly find some very close coal and diorite reserves. Not bad. Back at base, I waste no time in converting a corner of the lake into a paddock so I can get my food supplies stable. I haven't spotted any sheep yet, so it's off for a quick explore to find some and make my bed. Shadows get longer, as does the quick explore. Much longer. I finally spot some on the far bank of a river, so I've solved one problem. The bigger problem, for future me, is how to find my way back to base. With the sun properly setting, I spend the first night sleeping in a field. Somewhere. Okay, time to work out my bearings and see if I recognise anything. There's a hill, there's some trees, there's some water, there's some grass. Not great landmarks if I'm being honest. Hang on, that great big mountainy thing. That's a familiar landmark. Along with the river. My base is clearly off in this direction. Just stretching my legs. Clearly it's off in this direction. If I start strafe walking in the maybe correct direction, perhaps no one will notice. See? Told you it was the correct direction. And no one noticed. I've had enough directionally challenged adventures for now, so I'll focus on building out the base. In another departure from my normal style, I'm setting out some animal pens. I don't have any actual means to encourage the pig back to base, so I'll dig a quick porky pit to hold him. Yes, I clearly said what you thought I said. He's disrespecting my handiwork. So I double the pit, and soon he's waiting a future starring role in my breakfast. I'm still lacking any means to lead pigs, so I've pushed this one a ridiculous distance just to join its friend in the pit. I double check the distance from water level and get started on the actual base building. While out fetching more timber, I spot some spruce off in the distance and make sure to carefully make my way there and harvest it. Continuing the search for resources, I join the sheep in staring into oblivion. I'm glad I didn't run into this in the dark. Speaking of not running into holes in the dark, I'm making my way back to base and very nearly go straight down. The drawback to getting back to base late is that the next morning there's a lot of uninvited guests hanging out and getting explodey. Half a heart and a very well judged dive into the lake. That would have been a very embarrassing end to things. Other than my bed, the damage doesn't look too bad. Only a few slabs were destroyed, and I'm going to be digging in that area anyway. Thanks, Mr. Creeper. In an effort to discourage further exploding friends, I fence off the ground level where I'm working. But clearly I forgot what happened last world, where a creeper still hugged me through the fence. The next level down isn't that hard to carve out, being mainly dirt, and I start setting things into place. I've already been smart enough to establish that where my crops and animals already are will be my underground farm. Even though it's still partially exposed, the storage hall is the next to go in. Extending further down, the mine entrance turns out to be a nice andesite deposit. Happy with the progress there, I take some time to go and recruit some more farm guests. There's lots of chickens, pigs, and horses. I don't have much to attract any of them. It takes a swim across the river before I find more sheep. And finally some cows, as I'm already leading my new herd slowly back to base. Well, these guys can join the walk and swim. I managed to get my new friends into place before dark, and, with the porky pit, I have most of the animals I'm after for now. I channel an inner Dutchman and turn the lake into fertile fields. My farm is rapidly taking shape, and all it needs soon will be a roof. One big part of the base design I didn't get to with the last world was the perimeter wall. It's a crenellated overhanging wall that is completely mob safe. There are 4 corner towers and a front and back gate, each with 2 gate towers. It's a nice design feature that all farms, including villager, trading hall and breeder, fit completely within the wall perimeter. It's also completely flat within the walls, so I've got some dirt to place. But it nicely doubles up as the roof for my farms. The problem with things only being partially secure is that they're also completely insecure. A pillager patrol has invaded my farm. With no shield or armour, I bravely fight on from the top of my smoker. And my first mob kill for the world is a pillager captain. I plant my banner. The lack of iron so far is now beginning to be a bit of a problem. No iron means no bucket, so I can't get milk. Not that there's any villagers nearby anyway. And no armour. I haven't even set up to farm leather. I'm not super concerned, as I can build the base without any iron. I mean, thankfully that lake was well placed for my farms, but I will need some soon. The mine should help with that. It doesn't. It does give me a nice supply of diorite, which I do need for the haul. After more work with the farm and setting out more timbers and cobble, I really need to find those extra resources. I'm even lacking coal in the base mine. And so I go further afield. It takes until I hit a big descending cavern before I get my first anemic amounts of iron. Feeling brave, I push deeper, but soon one zombie becomes 2. But it's that sneaky skeleton way down below that's causing me damage. I bravely make a walled-in hole and sit and think about what I've done. I dig down and create a hole to the outside and risk a look. Oh, they're waiting for me. Oh wait, they're fighting. I'll leave them to it. In addition to this nice patch of diorite I'm digging out, my safety hole also has coal. Completely mining out that vein of coal opens another hole back into the cave. Surely this will be safe to get... Oh. A few very careful swipes later and this exit is now clear to use. But I don't. Instead, I go back to my safety hole and brick myself in. After a pleasant night's sleep, I continue extracting diorite and take a peek out the first observation hole. Oh, I still have at least one zombie friend waiting for me. While waiting for him to close inside of stabbing range, I go back to mining diorite, stopping every now and then to check where he is. Eventually he closes to stabbing range and... oh, he dropped first hit. That skeleton fight must really have hurt. I bravely make my way out of my hole that was deep in the... oh look, the sky. The surface is right there. Well, that's embarrassing. Safely back on the surface, I make my way back to base, where I will talk no more of the big scary cavern. It's odd. Some worlds you just get that feeling right from spawn that it isn't for you. Resources are impossible to find. Gameplay loops just don't close properly. Even the mobs have more teeth. I mean, normally it takes until I hit the nether before I get that feeling about a seed. Sometimes I can just feel the world just won't last that long. As to this one, well, it's hard to say. Clearly the resources haven't been easy to find around spawn, and I've had odd numbers of mobs chasing me from time to time. And I've clearly struggled with them when I did run into them. Regular watchers of my content would say that's just a skill issue. But it goes further than that. I made steady progress with the base, even when lacking iron, and it is coming along, even if a bit slowly. It's not like there's nothing to be proud of with this playthrough. Well, enough with filling morose, even if it is rainy. There's a game to be played. I get the framework for the haul-in and will be using my spare diorite to line the walls of the farms. With the new morning, the rain has ceased and there's a lifting fog. Before it lifts too far, I see zombies coming for me, but they'll burn helplessly against the fence, with some assistance. And I hope that skeleton burns too. That spider won't be too much of an issue during daytime. Okay, I had no idea where that burning child zombie came from, but he's not getting through. Ah, my farm! Yep, I hit half a heart again. No idea where he ran away, but I'm not asking questions right now. Alright, a little bit safer now. Alright, first priority, fix my health. Then to fix the hole he came in through. And finally, don't ever think about where he might have vanished to. Returning topside, I see that the original Dawn skeleton is still hanging around. I need to fix that. Brand new shield in hand, I set out to take on a completely different skeleton. Well, more health would have been handy. I know my rule about there always being a second skeleton is for caves, but I should probably keep it in mind here too, as the original skeleton shoots me in the back and I die. Well, according to our rules, that's it for this world. We're still catching up to the survival world, so the next one is another hardcore world. We'll see you then.